up? Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikki, and today is kind of a momentous and a little bit of a sad day because today we're going to be unboxing what is probably my last Loot Crate. If you guys have been here for any length of time, you'll know that the last like 2 or 3 boxes that I've gotten from Loot Crate have not been my favorite. I feel like the overall quality of the items that we're getting have just not really been there. And honestly, it's been so disappointing because Loot Crate was the box that got me into subscription boxes. So I have decided that this month, the October box is going to be my last box. This theme is mythical. It's October. I like all that kind of spooky stuff, so I thought I'd give it one more shot. So we'll go ahead and get this open and see what we have. So when you open up the box and look inside, this is what you're going to see. Yay! Another one of these buildable figures. So this one is Marvel. Last month, if you haven't seen the video, you can watch it in the cards above. We got one of these figures. It was Queen Takes Bishop. So it was from Aliens, the alien queen stabbing Bishop through the heart. And the figure was a piece of shit, honestly. I had a lot of difficulty building it, not just because I'm terrible at following instructions, but the thing fell apart completely. It wouldn't stand up. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these. This one is Thor versus Loki, and that is what it's supposed to look like. We'll go ahead and get this open and see. I'm also not a huge fan of the design of these. Okay, so this is the final product. As you can see, we have the movie version of Loki and Thor, Tom Hiddleston, and one of the hot Hemsworth brothers. So this figure is actually a little bit better than the last one that we got. It was easier to build, and I think that's because the pieces are just bigger. They're not as little, so they're easier to put together. It was basically the head and the body of each of these two, and then they stick into the base. And they're actually like standing upright as opposed to tipping over. So I feel like the design is a little bit better on this one, but again, it's also not my favorite. It's an improvement, but that's not really saying much. Now this looks promising. Alright, so we have a Stranger Things item. It is an 11 vs. Demogorgon diorama, and this is part of Loot Crate's artist series. This is from the artist J. Salvador, and as you can see, spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen Stranger Things, this is 11 in her final showdown, saving her friends from the Demogorgon. Okay guys, so this is the final product. As you can see, the super cute 11 facing the super cute / scary Demogorgon. This was fairly easy to build. It was just 3 pieces, the base, the back, and then 11. I gotta say, I like this concept. I think this is really quality and really fun, and I love the styling on this, much more so than the other figure that we received. My issue with it is just a general like display. How do you display it? Like, I guess from the side so you can kind of see everything, but then I feel like you miss the detail of 11's face. If you display it like this, then you just sort of see the back of her head. So from a display perspective, it's a little awkward, but I do like this figure. I think this is pretty promising. Okay. So next up we have Mr. Pointy, a wooden bookmark from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, for me, being a huge reader and a big book fan, I collect bookmarks, so I am actually pretty happy about this. This one's a little bit flimsy, so I think you have to be careful with it. If you guys have watched the show, you know Buffy had her stake, Mr. Pointy. So I think that's a fairly fun representation of it, but I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy getting a kind of flimsy, fairly small, you know, wooden bookmark in a box. So it is a little bit random. I like it personally because, again, I'm a huge reader, so I'm a big fan of that, but I know not everybody's going to be the happiest with it, and I do think it could be a little bit bigger. And then we have the t-shirt and the pin, so we'll go ahead and do the t-shirt next. This is a Lootwear exclusive, a black t-shirt, fairly soft. I generally like their t-shirts. This is the Ghostbusters item. Yes, and it is a very 80s representation of the Ghostbusters logo. So as you can see, we have our little design, our 80s design back here, the 80s neon coloring, and then the Ghostbusters symbol. So I genuinely really enjoy their t-shirts. They're really good quality. I think they're fun. I think they always do a really good job on the design, and I love this. Love this. This is awesome. All right, and then all that we have left is our Mythical booklet and our pin. Okay, so our pin this month is Dracula. And as you know, the pins always unlock something in Loot Crate, usually downloadable content. I gotta say, I love Dracula. Love it. I love the book. I love kind of the mythology around it. This is a really odd representation of Dracula. He's like a melty face. Like if Dracula meets the Wicked Witch of the West when she gets water thrown on her and she's melting, that's what this guy is. So I like the pin. I just think the styling is a little weird. It's just a little weird. I don't know. Is it me? I feel like it's not me though. So yeah, it's not terrible. It's not my favorite. I've seen better. I've seen worse. They've kind of started taking their own direction with their pins, which I haven't been the biggest fan of, but this is an improvement, I guess. So that is our pin, and that is everything that we got in our box. Loot Crate. It's not me. It's definitely you. You know, this box wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was like there are some items that I really, really enjoyed and others that were just kind of meh. It's definitely an improvement on the last several boxes that I've received from Loot Crate. I definitely, don't get me wrong, like it much better, and I like the majority of the items in this box. And I do think that they are better quality than items that we've received in the past. But do I feel like Loot Crate is at the standard that they were when I started subscribing to them in like 2015 and 2016? No, I don't. I have some fundamental issues with Loot Crate, and I apologize for kind of going into a rant, but you know, if I'm going to spend my time, my energy, and my money on something, I expect consistency and quality, you know, fairly regularly in these boxes. And that's not to say that I have the reasonable expectation that I'm not going to like every month's box, and that I'm not going to like everything in every month's box. But when you are consistently just being let down month after month after month, even with themes and franchises that you think you're going to like, there comes a point where you have to say, okay, this isn't working for me anymore, and it's on the chopping block. And Loot Crate made the chopping block, and they did not make the cut. So I saw this month's themes, and I wanted to give it one more go, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I got this box, but I also sort of am reaffirmed in the fact that I'm glad I'm letting them go. I feel like they could just do so much better. There are boxes out there that feature like 100% exclusive items in their boxes, like Geek Fuel. Their October box blew me away because they took the time and the effort, and you could tell that there was a lot of thought and creative energy thrown in, and not just to the items but to the packaging and everything. And I feel like Loot Crate isn't doing that. If I'm being honest, I feel like Loot Crate is headed down the same path that Nerd Block went. And that's not to say that they're trying to screw over their customers. That's not to say like that I think they're horrible, horrible company. I just feel like they are spreading themselves too thin across so many different crates, quarterly crates and limited edition crates and DX crates, and they're doing too much. And because they're doing so much, their efforts are spread much more thin. So what used to be their bread and butter in a regular crate, all that effort and energy that they put into those crates is now kind of being dispersed amongst several different crates every month or every other month or every 4 months or however often. And I feel like the quality has just gone down. The consistency has just gone down because of that. As much as I love this diorama is a repeat item. And what I mean by that is that if you guys checked out Loot Crate and you guys checked out their New York Comic Con exclusives, this was one of them. Now, before you freak out, like, it was slightly different in the coloring. It was like grayscale, the upside down version, but this was essentially the same thing. So if I'm somebody who spent money on a New York Comic Con exclusive, yeah, the color's a little different. I know you could argue that, but it's the same item. So then to get that in a box, I feel like I got ripped off. I did not get the DX box for this month, but the DX box featured a Ghostbusters item. It was like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man tromping through New York City. Really cool figure. I mean, pretty large. That was also a repeat item from Comic-Con. The Comic-Con version was like kind of clear and glittery, whereas the Stay Puft in the DX box was just all solid white. But again, it's a repeat item, and I paid more for it in a DX box. So like if you end up with duplicate items like that maybe are slightly varied, I don't know, it just feels kind of lazy. And I feel like if I took the time and spent the money on Comic-Con to get those exclusive items, which by the way, the last time I checked, they were in the vault like 50% off, you know, I feel like I'm getting ripped off, and that's something that Nerd Block did, and it's not cool. So I feel a little torn. I feel like they're spreading themselves too thin. They're kind of getting lazy. You know, again, they're featuring items that fall apart, that are kind of cheap, and I can't justify spending my money on that. So there are other boxes that are doing it really, really well, and I will take my money and spend it there. And, you know, that's not to say that I won't ever feature Loot Crate on the channel again. I ordered the limited special edition Stranger Things crate like months ago, so that will probably be the official last box on the channel when it releases. But, you know, I can't find it in me to want to sink my money into a company that I feel like is just potentially headed down the Nerd Block path. I'm just not comfortable doing that. So yeah, this was just, I don't know. This crate in particular was definitely an improvement on the last few, but in general, I just can't say that I feel comfortable enough continually buying from them when I just am ending up disappointed. And that's my own personal opinion, you know. That's not knocking anybody who really enjoys the products or the items that they're getting in their Loot Crates. So I really, really hope that they get their stuff together. I hope that maybe this is just sort of a transition period where, you know, things go downhill, but then they can improve. And I'll definitely be keeping my eye on them. So if you guys do any Loot Crate unboxings, let me know. I want to watch them. I want to see how they're doing, and if they improve and I feel like they're consistently getting better and better with the quality and the items featured, then maybe I will be a return customer eventually. But for right now, they're donezo in my opinion, and I don't really feel all that bad about it. I'm glad I got this box. You know, I really, really do enjoy the diorama. The bookmark, yeah, it's kind of a throwaway, but it's right up my alley, so I'm not mad about it. And I genuinely do think they have some of the best t-shirts in the game in terms of quality and design, so I'm really happy about this. You know, this is just kind of meh. Honestly, I'm a little curious and confused as to why this is featured in this box. And don't get me wrong, I understand it's mythological in that it's Norse mythology, but they chose to do movie renditions which are more in this superhero territory, and I get that people know this version of them, but I feel like they're kind of reaching a bit to get it to fit the theme, so I'm a little confused as to why this is in this box, but you know, and the pin was okay. I'm not the biggest fan of the design, but I like that it's Dracula, so I kind of, I don't know how to feel about it. But yeah, the box was just meh. I don't know. I definitely want to know what you guys think though. Is it Loot Crate or is it me? Am I being too tough on them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also if you guys have a favorite item, I definitely want to know what it is. Are you guys current subscribers of Loot Crate? And for me personally, I think the diorama takes it. I think it's really cute. Again, I have some issues with it, but I do think the design is really cool. It's just a bummer if you spent the money on the Comic-Con exclusive and then got this box. So, yeah, that's kind of it. Do you agree with me? Do you think they're headed down the path of being another Nerd Block? I definitely want to know. So sound off in the comments below, and if you guys like this box, if you like Loot Crate or you like the video, give this video a big ol' thumbs up. That'll let me know, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and sorry this was such a bummer, but you know, it happens. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.